We're here at the Efrat settlement in the West Bank, the capital of the Etzion block, if you will, where 600 new housing units are at the final stages of construction. 300 others are at the more initial phases. And to help build those new housing units, an American delegation arrived here today, headed by a former governor of Arkansas and a former Republican presidential candidate and long-standing staunch supporter of Israel, Mike Huckabee. And if it's up to him, it's only the very beginning.
I think it's a recognition of what many of us have hoped for a long time, that we would recognize Judea and Samaria as vital parts of the long-term future for the state of Israel.
And in a future Trump peace plan, what do you think will be the pressure on Israel, if any, to compromise the settlement enterprise?
I can't speak for the administration, so I'm not going to pretend that I am. I can only speak as one individual American citizen and longtime friend of Israel, and hoping that our government would never pressure Israel to do something that it would not tolerate being pressured to do. Simple as that.
While we were here, we also had a chance to speak to a Palestinian construction worker who, believe it or not, seemed even more excited than the rest of the crowd here. And for him, again, believe it or not, the more construction in settlement, the better.
Look, peace doesn't just come like that. Peace comes from both sides. You have to try to work hard. I'm actually from East Jerusalem, but as you can see, many come here to make a living. If the situation was quiet on both sides and not just on one side, we would all be together. Both sides have to work together, not just one side.
And while the big Trump peace plan is still being formulated in Washington, and while the right-wing government here in Israel is still reigning, we have yet to see any substantial moves on the ground to reinforce or boost the settlement enterprise for Oded Revivi, the mayor of Efrat. It's just a matter of time, and perhaps we need to be a bit more patient.
Despite the fact that we think that today we're living in good days, I still think that we can live in better days, and we need to try and reach those better days. And definitely in those better days we'll be able to allow to be built more. Just like somebody just now mentioned to me, it is in the American administration's interest.
And if we needed any further proof for the close alliance and strengthening alliance between the current right-wing government here in Jerusalem and Trump's administration in Washington, you can take a look at those hats that they were handing out today. Build Israel Great Again. From here in Efrat, Ellie Hochenberg, I-24 News.